This life is the dream. Now, this is probably going to go on for several parts of a series, so bear with me. I've been lucid dreaming actively since I was 18, mistakenly since I was around 10 or maybe even younger. My biological father, he really thought that this life was a game or a dream. And he couldn't handle this life very well. And he ended up killing himself about 2.5 years ago. Well, I think that he had it all wrong. He thought that because he could control his lucid dreams, that he could control this life in the same manner. And he would say in several of his kind of creepy emails to me, you know, if you can control your dreams, you can control this life in the same way. The thing is, though, is that this life, the one that you're listening to this video recording in, has different principles than the dream realm. And we're very aware that it has different principles, and that's why we never have tried to do the things that we do in dreams. Or we know the difference between what's real and what's a dream, because we know that there's different principles going on between the dream realm and the realm that's going on now. So he thought that because he could say these certain things in his dreams, in his lucid dreams, and that awesome things would happen, or people would follow him, or things like that in his lucid dreams, he thought he could do the same in this reality that we're in, this dream that you're listening to this video recording in. He also thought that because he couldn't really die in his dreams, he didn't think he could die in real life either. He even claimed that he was immortal. He messed up, though. He ended up overdosing and killing himself, and I mean, I know that it was intentional because he sent me and other family members gifts about 2 weeks before he conveniently died, so it really does seem like it was a suicide. And then he also deleted all of his email accounts and just really dramatic things like that before he accidentally died, which shows that he killed himself. He didn't realize that he did have it right. This is a dream. But it's a dream to evolve our little spirits or whatnot. And in order for the evolution to take place, in order for you to really learn your lesson or thing that you wanted to learn, like you already chose what you wanted to learn before you were even born. And if you're able to control this life, how are you ever supposed to learn that lesson? So he just honestly really thought that he could control this, and he couldn't. Which goes on to how lucid dreaming has changed how I think about this life. I was watching this documentary on Nova back when I was a very militant atheist about dreams. And it said that dreams actually prepare us for real world consequences. So our body is constantly trying to be prepared for these horrific events that might happen to us. And now looking at it with my lucid dreaming experience, that is very true. The entities that do design our dreams, they are trying to see if we can handle this upcoming situation, better preparing us to handle that upcoming situation, and they gauge on how well we do in that dream as if they would like to put us through that situation or not. And if they do, they know how we're going to handle it. So they already are steps ahead of us. They know how we're going to probably react to things before they even happen. Which is why sometimes you dream that things are going to happen, and then they do. That means that you passed the little dream test that you had in the dream, and you were aware, not aware, but your brain was prepared to handle this situation, and then the situation happen. My lucid dream characters don't like me to lucid dream. They don't like it. They don't like it because they spent a lot of time constructing this intricate process for me to go through in order to teach me something, in order to get me prepared for a next supposed real world event. And whenever I'm aware that this is happening, I can't fulfill the purpose of their dream sequences that they have prepared for me. I mean, they would even bargain with me. They would get so annoyed that I kept waking up in my dream and being aware, that they told me, can you just fulfill 1 out of 6 that we come up with? Like, can you just, 1 out of every 6, can you just go along with it to see what we're trying to do? And sometimes whenever I'm lucid dreaming, I actually keep myself from letting them know that I'm in a dream, because sometimes they get upset and they're starting to get annoyed with me. This process mirrors the dream that we are in right now. We're in this dream to learn something. This is a huge simulation to prepare us for something that goes on in our, I don't like to call it afterlife, because we were there before we got here, like back to the place in which we all came, in which we all go to, in which we all come from. Something, we did this in order to grow in that realm. And if we're awake in this life that we're in right now, then it kind of really ruins what they plan for us, or what you plan for you. I mean, you came up with a plan. And so what really is annoying whenever it comes to like suicides and whatnot, when my dad killed himself, I'm sure that he's really annoyed right now, because in essence, he woke up. As soon as he killed himself, he woke up back into this place in which we all came from. Like, I'm not going to call it an afterlife, because you were there before you got here. And he probably realized as soon as he, quote unquote, woke up after killing himself, oh my God, I was meant to stay there to do this other thing, and I never did it. So now I have to come back and do it all over. Basically saying, I did all this work for nothing and lived, through 40-something years of this life working towards this type of goal, and I never actually made the goal because I got confused in my life and then checked out, in essence. This comes down to another thing that I wanted to talk about. I think that before we enter this life, we make a deal with ourselves, I guess, on how much information we will allow ourselves to obtain. Like, I think that my biological father made a deal with himself saying that he would be allowed to give himself some answers about what's going on, but he became obsessed with the answers that he did allow for himself to obtain. If you're still not understanding what I'm saying, sometimes when I ask my dream characters questions like, where are we, and who are you, and what is this, they'll tell me the answer, but I won't be able to remember it by the time that I wake up. And I think that that's due to the deal that I've made with myself. If I know these answers, then that's going to mess up the plan that's going on. It's going to make me lucid in this life. And you don't want to be lucid in this life, because then you're not going to be able to fulfill the overall plan, which on a smaller scale will relate to the dreams that we have. Sometimes you don't need to be lucid in your dreams, because you need to go through this type of experience to make you grow, or to see if you can handle this type of situation, and if not, your dream characters will put you in a different position. Sorry, I'm really congested. Speaking of random sidebar on dream characters, they love you. They love the dream characters. I don't know if you specifically choose them to be your dream characters before you come back into this life, but they love you. Even if they are portraying something that's meant to scare you, they don't want to be doing that, because even in my most horrific of dreams, if I ask them to stop, to reveal themselves, to stop, I can't handle it, they'll stop, and then they'll get very upset and they'll apologize, and they'll mention that they didn't mean to. They don't like to make you upset. They just love you. And then also, this creeps me out because I'm in my room right now recording this, in which I try not to get creeped out, but it's just a normal reaction to get creeped out whenever I talk about things like this. The things that are in your room before you go to sleep, or as you're going to sleep, when you have that feeling that something is on the edge of your bed or something that is on top of you, those are the entities, in my opinion, that are supposed to take you to the dream realm. They guide your little soul thing or whatever to the dream realm. They take you there. And sometimes you get into a very weird state where you're awake while they're trying to take you. Or, I don't know, you're just in a weird state where you're halfway awake, halfway asleep, and you're not in the real dream realm yet. You're still in your room and you can feel them, or they're talking, and you're really just kind of freaking out. Well, instead of freaking out, in which I've learned to stop freaking out, because you make them so much worse than what they really are. If you stop freaking out and just try to feel, who is it that's here? Maybe it's just me, but as soon as I stopped freaking out, if they're on top of me or next to me, I actually feel like love. I feel like whatever it is that's really near me really loves me a lot. Like, I accidentally was getting upset and afraid whenever they didn't mean to do that. And whatever it is, really loves me. And I noticed this about 2 or 3 years ago. I was in my apartment, and I could just feel something pushing me into the bed. Just pushing me very violently almost into the bed, but strangely pushing me into the bed with love. Just really weird, overall warm, amazing, good sensation, but I was also really scared at the same time. Something was just pushing me into the bed with love, and it just makes me look at what it is that's in your room and what's on your bed as something that's different.